Coach, as we talked about, pregame, these ones coming off a West Coast trip are never easy. How pleased were you with your group's ability to stick with it down the stretch and find ways to win this game?
I was pleased with our fans. We told you what it was going to be. They willed it, their energy, their fight. I mean, you could hear the building rocking, and that's exactly what we need. And I said it when we left Denver. We're going to need that coming home, and they were absolutely fantastic. But this is a tough win, very tough win coming off the West Coast. It's time change, the sleep, but our guys pulled it out, and I think that's the biggest piece. 23 holding them to 23 points in the fourth quarter. Each guy individually stepping up, guys trusting each other to make the right play, the right pass. This is what you ask of them to do.
You know the type of player Paolo is, but considering how up and down he's been since he's returned, for him to hit that shot late, just how much confidence do you have in him? And for him to hit that, what does that do for him?
I told him, I have the utmost confidence in that young man. He's a star for a reason. And that he may have been struggling early on, but that's not going to deter who he is and what he's about. And he's a winner. He's going to try to find ways to win. And that he wasn't afraid. He was not afraid in that moment, no matter how it was going early in the game. And that's the trust that we have in him. And that's the trust his teammates have in him as well.
Throughout the game, there's the lead kind of bounced back and forth. You guys were down 13 in the third, brought it back, tied it, took the lead, gave up those back-to-back threes, went down 6. What does it say about this team's ability to respond and kind of reach down and find it after the way that they've played over the last few weeks?
14 lead changes in this game. I think that's big, but our ability not to get rattled, and I really can't say it enough. You got to realize on the road when these runs happen, it becomes a little more difficult. And when you're home and those runs happen and your crowd gets behind you, it changes the game. Because you understand the momentum shifts, and our guys feed off of this crowd and our fans, which they are absolutely fantastic. And so our ability to sustain those runs and not get rattled and stay poised and make the right plays down the stretch, I thought our guys did a great job.
Franz obviously had it going offensively for much of the night, but he also chased down that offensive rebound right at the end before Paolo hit that shot. Just what about his performance tonight sticks out to you, obviously, alongside with what Paolo did?
Winner. Ultimate winner, ultimate competitor, ultimate winner. The things he does within a game that people probably don't even recognize or see are some of the things that great players do, and he is. He has probably one of the highest basketball IQs of anyone I've ever been around. He understands the game. He knows what's happening within the game, how to manipulate offenses or defenses. He understands putting people in the right position. I think those things don't always show up on a stat sheet, but they show up to your teammates. They show up to guys understanding exactly what you're doing and willing to do to help this team get over the hump.
There was a lot of visible and audible emotion from the players, and the crowd, but the players on the court post-game. Why was this win so emotional and maybe so necessary for the morale of the locker room at this time in the season?
Because this is always a rough stretch for teams. Before the All-Star break, you end up on a 10-day road trip, on the West Coast. You're away from your family. You're exhausted. You're tired. All of those things that you could use as excuses, and you find a way to grit it out. And that's what these guys did. It was a gritty, tough win that they never quit, and I think the emotions are absolutely right. They should have shown it the exact way that they did, because these are not easy wins. No matter how they look, pretty or not, you got to find a way to get it done, and they did a heck of a job down the stretch, trusting each other, which was the best part of this.
Coach, can you talk about Anthony Black's performance tonight? Plus 22 off the bench. When he got the Aaron Fox and Chris Paul on him, he took advantage and took the ball right to the hoop. Not the best three-point shooter this season, but hit 3 of 3 tonight confidently. Can you just talk about his performance tonight?
I will say this for everyone. I'll say it to our locker room. I will say it to Anthony Black. I will say it to our team. This is how we understand he can play. With a level of confidence, toughness, grit, determination, getting downhill, stepping into a shot with confidence, guarding multiple players, switching on to Wemby, switching on to Fox, switching on to Chris Paul, being able to guard multiple positions and not being afraid. That's the Anthony Black that we also know and who he can be night in and night out.
Thank you, Coach Mosley.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. Oh, you got to talk about Jonathan Isaac, too, stops down the stretch.